Hey there guys! Have you ever wondered just how viable the legendaries are in Pokemon? I for one grew up believing that all legendaries were super powerful, but now with recent legendary releases, I'm starting to think less and less of their power. Without having certain additional items to aid them in battle, they just aren't worth it. That's why I'm here challenging each legendary in their respective games to see if they can beat their game without any aid from additional Pokemon or items in battle. I'm writing the section of the script prior to starting the challenge, so I don't know what will go on during the challenge, and I'll be writing the script as I go along, letting you all know the struggles that I go through and have focus on the main fight of the game. For this challenge, we'll be using Mewtwo. Mewtwo is originally a legendary Pokemon that we find in Cerulean Cave at level 70 in the main game. Level 70 is higher than any of the Elite Four Pokemon, which automatically makes it one of, if not the best Pokemon to get in the first generation games. If we take a look at Mewtwo's base stats within Gen 1, we easily see that it is the best Pokemon with the highest base stat of 590. I don't really think we'll run into any issue with these stats, so this should rather be easy. But if we take a look at the moveset, we technically don't learn anything new until level 63, which is probably not a level we will need to get to given our base stats. Our normal level up moveset is not good and pretty forgettable. But if we take a look at our TM and HM move list, we can learn most any good move and have a much wider type coverage. Maybe as the first challenge, this is probably a really easy one. Maybe these legendaries are really just that good, but who knows? We need to go over some rules. One, I can only use Mewtwo in battle. I can use other Pokemon for HMs, but I can't use Mewtwo, or I can't use any other Pokemon for battle other than Mewtwo. Two, I can catch and use other Pokemon to learn HMs to get through the rest of the game as they are required to do so. At least for Strength, Surf, Cut, those ones are the main one. I can't use any items in battle, and no glitches or exploits other than starting with Mewtwo that I know of. So let's start. So starting off, we have Professor Oak meet us out in the wild, and he catches a wild Mewtwo. He doesn't even bat an eye that he just saw one of the scariest and rarest Pokemon ever living. Since my rival, Blue, is a dick and wants the Pokemon to himself, he takes Eevee that I would have gotten instead, and Oak gives me the legendary Mewtwo since he no longer has any of the Pokemon that he can give me. I receive the Mewtwo and decide that its name should be Mew, just because. Take that evil Mewtwo from Pokemon the first movie. Taking a look at our moves in battle, we start off with 4 moves, with 3 of them being attacking moves and then 1 of them being a passive move. We easily take down our rival's Eevee in 1 critical hit. Taking a look at our stats, currently our special is the best stat other than our health at starting at 26, much higher than the normal 18 to 20 with a normal Pikachu. We head off to the town above Pallet Town, Viridian City, to get Oak's parcel, only to head back to Pallet Town to give it to Professor Oak so we can get the Pokedex. Like we'll need it. With this we can continue on. I don't believe that I'll really need to train, but I want to get to level 9 before doing the bonus rival battle on Route 22. So I'm going to head there to train a bit and then face him. While training, I get super bored because of Mew's extensive need of EXP to level up since they are slow EXP learners. Once I hit level 8, I try to take on the rival battle. It was a good thing to go after a rival at level 8 because we get an additional level after sweeping his team like it was paper and we were the wind. As we try to continue forward, the old man stops us and forces us to watch him fail at catching a Rattata. Pathetic. Then he runs away. Heading into Viridian Forest, we can really start to see why I chose Pokemon Yellow versus the other games, because we have a ton more trainer battles available to us, both forced and optional. So we start by trying to take them all down. I'll need to be at least level 11 to take on Brock and his 2 Pokemon. When I leave Viridian Forest, I'm already at level 11, so why not take a crack at Brock and his gym fellows? We easily take down Brock's lackey with just 2 single hits, and it's now on to Brock. He starts off by setting out Geodude, but since it's now 2 levels below me, I should easily take it out. I do with a single Confusion, and next up this is level 12 Onyx. A Confusion brings it down to near death, so I need to use a Psychic next. I actually thought he would heal Onyx, but he decided not to, so my Psychic easily took it out. With the defeat of Brock, I gain an additional level, so I'm now level 13. My stats have more than doubled since the beginning, so this is going to be a really easy challenge. I may not run into any issues until the Elite Four, or at least Koga's toxic Pokemon. Heading on to Route 3, we have to take on all the trainers just to make it to Mount Moon. One by one, we easily wipe out the trainers with little to no effort whatsoever. The Pokemon to withstand more than a single hit was a youngster's Pharaoh. Stupid bird. The other was a Jigglypuff, and can someone please help me sleep at night? The demonic eyes of Jigglypuff will now forever be burned into my soul. When it came to obtaining the fossils, I took the Dome Fossil. Why? Well, comment below to know why. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. When trying to leave Mount Moon, I got stopped by Team Rocket's most majestic couple, Jesse and James. This is an addition to Pokemon Yellow to make it more anime-like, and adds an additional challenge to the first gen games compared to Pokemon Red and Blue. Coming out of Mount Moon, we are level 21, which makes us the perfect level for both the rival battle on Nugget Bridge and Gym Leader Misty. So let's go on to the rival battle. Currently we are level 21, which is at least 2 levels higher than his highest level Pokemon, which should make this an easy sweep against them. First off, he sends out his Sparrow, and I'm hoping that Psychic can make quick work of his team, and Psychic really does allow for a one-shot sweep of his entire team. By the time that we enter Gym 2 to take on Misty and her lackeys, we're level 24. Her first lackey goes down without a hitch, and we're able to level up to level 25. Each battle here is a one-shot, so we are doing pretty well. So far I can say that Mewtwo is definitely worth it. With her lackeys dealt with by our Mewtwo, it's time for Misty. Before the match, she calls me a sweetie, so she tries to hit on me. First off is her Staryu, and we nail a critical hit. Next up is her Starmie at level 21, and I use Confusion, but I forgot that Starmie is now a part of Psychic, and using Psychic type moves against it isn't very effective. Misty uses an X defense to raise the defense of her Pokemon, so we're now at a disadvantage with our attacks. Starmie hits us for 11 points and uses Harden to raise its defense even more. After riddling her down with Swift, we finally beat Misty. With this we can continue on and go down to the SS Anne to have people jump us while we try to have a vacation. So we make it down to the SS Anne, and like always, the bouncer stops us to make sure that we are allowed on the ship. Once on, we go from room to room trying to fight as many trainers as we can and get all the items, because once we are done, we lose out on doing this again. Going through, we easily wipe out trainer after trainer. I'm really starting to think that the rest of the game is going to be a breeze, but one thing I am noticing is that I'm getting to such a high level, I'm going to need to catch another Pokemon to learn Cut so we can continue on. Since I can only use Mewtwo in battle, I can't actually attack the Pokemon, otherwise I'd kill them. So I'm going to be wasting a ton of Pokeballs pretty soon. There are so many trainers on the SS Anne that I actually run out of Confusion PP, or Power Points, and have to start using Swift to beat the trainers. However, since Swift may have the same power as Confusion, it is normal type, so we don't get the bonus type for using the same type moves. Therefore, we are using the attack stat instead of the special stat, so we are likely doing a lot less damage than we would have otherwise. There are many items in Pokemon, and I learned that in these older Pokemon games, apparently there is a limit on how many items you can carry, so we have to use some. I decided to upgrade Mewtwo a bit stat-wise, but don't change any moves just yet. Going into the rival battle, we are level 32. Confusion is almost out of power points since I used a Ether outside of battle to raise it back up to 10. But we did get into the fight afterwards. First off is his Sparrow, and a Confusion easily one-shots it. Next up is a Rattata. I am double its level, so there's another easy one-shot kill. Actually, I just one-shot his entire team. No difficulty in it. Mewtwo is just too good. We go and rub the captain's back after sweeping our rival to get HMO1 Cut. Time to go catch a wild Pokemon that can learn this. We leave the SS Anne and it takes off, so we can never return to this area. I end up going and capturing a Pidgey. Hopefully this can be our HM slave for a couple of HMs. Unfortunately, I forgot that Pidgey can't learn Cut. Time to find a different Pokemon, but I'm out of Pokeballs. I must go buy more. After searching, I run into a Rattata. This will also be an HM slave. After a few Pokeballs, we managed to catch Rattata and welcome to the team, HM2. Wait, can Rattata not learn Cut? Hold on, this is weird. I have to check Cerebi. Yep, can't learn Cut. Well, this sucks. Looking at Cerebi, we actually cannot run into a Pokemon above Vermilion that learns Cut. So we run all the way back to Route 24. We end up running into Bellsprout so we can finally use Cut, but only after wasting Pokeball after Pokeball. Finally, we were able to get to the third gym. Who knew the hardest part of this challenge would be catching Pokemon that can learn, HMs. Next time I'll catch them earlier. We solved the button puzzle within 5 trash cans and don't fight any of the trainers. We face off against Lieutenant Surge and his one Pokemon. It should be easy, but it is level 28. Once Psychic brings it down to red, he uses the next speed to hopefully go first, but we are so fast that we end up hitting him with another Psychic for the win. Off to the next gym, but it's been so long since I played, I had to look up how to get there. And then, by so long that I've played, I never actually remember beating any of the Kanto regions other than in the newer Let's Go Pokemon games, which is stupidly simple. After looking up where to go, I decided to ignore all that and just go get the bike with the bike voucher that I got from the Pokemon Fan Club man. I had to free up space, so instead of getting rid of something, I teach Mewtwo Thunderbolt so I have more type coverage. Upon entering Rock Tunnel, I debate on if I should use Flash or not, but I found a photo on the internet that literally gives you the path to take, so yeah, not going to use Flash. Gonna try this photo out to see if this is usable for later challenges. There are a ton of trainers in Rock Tunnel, but they're no match for Mewtwo. We managed to get through Rock Tunnel without using Flash, and we're roughly level 38. Since we don't have the necessary items for the Pokemon Tower yet, we're just going to continue along the way to Celadon City. Going up against Erica, we are now at least level 39, or her highest is level 32, so this should be easy enough to do. With our new move Ice Beam, we're able to one-shot each of her team. Our Mewtwo is really good. With that, we finish Erica. 10 out of 10 so far. We're going into the battle at level 41, and our highest level is 25, and this is for Jesse and James's Rocket Hideout. So again, this is easily a one-shot sweep, 10 out of 10. Giovanni has a lower level Pokemon than Erica. This is going to be another easy battle. With the rival battle at Pokemon Tower, our rival has 5 Pokemon as we're going into this, but against the highest level amongst them is around level 25, so this is easily going to be a one-shot sweep with no issue. Again, we one-shot sweep, so again, no issue. I honestly don't think I'm going to run into another issue again. Now we have another Jesse and James battle at the Pokemon Tower. Within the 5 minutes of running into these guys a town over, they leveled twice, so they might pose more of a challenge, but no. Again, roughly a one-shot sweep. I messed up on the Weezing and used Swift instead of Ice Beam, and it managed to hit me with a Sludge, but after that, it was easily dealt with. With that, we have to head to the Silphco to clear it out. And with that, we have a rival fight, the Silphco. You know, you're just traveling around Silphco being Rocket Grunt to Rocket Grunt, only to see your rival here too. So what is it with him? Isn't he blue? A nice guy? Not a bad guy? Seems pretty suspicious to me. His highest level Pokemon is now level 40, which is a lot closer to my level 48 Mewtwo, so we may need to have some additional hits against us. Only Pokemon of his that gave us a lick of trouble was his Jolteon, which withstood an Ice Beam, and I now believe that this is the last rival fight until we see him before the Elite Four. And then we have Team Rocket again, Jesse and James. Again with these punks, can't we just skip this fight and say I won? No? Well, no matter, it was a quick one-shot sweep. Next up is Giovanni. This fight should be relatively easy. We're going in at level 49, and his highest is level 41 Nidoqueen. But we seem to one-shot kill his entire team with Ice Beam and Thunderbolt, so again, no issue. 10 out of 10 battle. With that, we head off to Sabrina, and so technically this is the 6th gym leader, and we are skipping Koga, but don't worry, we are high enough level to take her on with no issue. She has the evolution line of Abra, all that at level 50, but Abra knows literally nothing, and the other two should be relatively easy. Going into the battle, we are level 51, so we can easily take this. Abra goes down to 2 Thunderbolts, Kadabra goes down to 2 hits, as well as our accuracy is down to due to Kinesis, but we still don't miss. We get hit by Psywave for some damage, but immediately take down the Alakazam. Now we make our way to Fuchsia City. So with Koga in Fuchsia City, Koga has 4 Pokemon, and the only one is level 50, so he is less of a challenge than Sabrina was. So this is actually going to be really easy enough with Psychic. Hopefully we can one-shot sweep him, because if we don't, then he can use Toxic against us, and that would basically spell the end of our Mewtwo run. He runs 3 Venonats and a Venomoth. Each one should die to a single Psychic. Well, I was correct in my assessment, and he is now dead. One-shot his entire team. With that, we head off to Gym Leader Blaine. After making my way through the Seafoam Islands and all the way to Cinnabar Island, I had to traverse through the mansion and then take a quiz to get to Blaine. Currently our Mewtwo is level 57, and the highest level Pokemon that Blaine has is 54. They're all Fire-type Pokemon, and we have no special moves that are really good against them, so maybe just using Psychic will either be a 1 or 2 shot kill for most of this Pokemon. First off is Ninetale gets crit, next up is Rapidash, and it too dies to a critical hit, and finally is the Arcanine, which does not get crit, so we get hit by a critical takedown. Then we finish off with a critical Psychic. You may be asking how I obtained so many critical hits. Well, to tell you, first generation games are literally broken. In this generation, the speed stat is taken into consideration when determining a critical hit. The higher the speed stat, the more likely a critical hit will occur. Since Mewtwo is considered to be either the 2nd or 3rd best Pokemon in Gen 1 for base speed stat, we crit more often than we should. That is why for later Pokemon challenges, at least for the Gen 1 games, I will most likely be using Fire Red or Leaf Green rather than Pokemon Yellow, so it fits to more of how Pokemon standards are nowadays, so we don't run into these issues. Or run into these slight little glitches that you could call a glitch or something along those lines, because Gen 1 is literally broken. With the defeat of Blaine, I fly back to Viridian and take on the 8th gym, Giovanni. Giovanni has 5 Pokemon, with 2 of them being level 55. Since I'm around that level and Mewtwo having the best base stats in the game, we should be really okay. First up is his Dugtrio, but since this gym is a ground type, I should just be able to use Ice Beam for the win. Well, forgot about that Persian, but managed to freeze it with the Ice Beam. Nidoqueen is an X, and a single Ice Beam takes it out. Her king is next and dies the same way. Finally his Rhydon, and down and out the same way, another rival battle. And this should be rather easy since his highest level is level 53. First off is his Sand Slash, and then an Ice Beam takes it down. Next up is his Execute, and I use a Psychic and managed to take it down even though it was not effective. Ninetales goes down the same way. Cloyster gets one shot by Thunderbolt, Kadabra is up next and tanks a hit, recovers, and then dies to another Ice Beam. Finally is his Jolteon, and the Psychic is not good enough. He pin missiles me for 18 damage even though it is super effective against us. Another Ice Beam. And with that, we can go on to the Elite Four. So going into the Elite Four, we are level 61, and our stats are as follows. 181 attack, 153 defense, 209 speed, 220 special, and 243 health. With this, we are doing pretty well for ourselves. The highest level Pokemon that we will go up against in this entire section is level 65, which is our rivals. As with most of our other fights, we are close in level, so we should easily win. Here are my predictions for the Elite Four. Against Lorelei, the Water Elite Four lady, we can easily use Thunder Shock against her entire team, or Thunderbolt against her entire team. The highest level is 56, and we shouldn't run into an issue with this. Against Bruno, we can just use a mixture between Psychic and Ice Beam to take his Pokemon down. His highest level is 58. Against Agatha, we can use Psychic against her Pokemon to take them out one by one. Highest level is 60, but I'd assume that I'd probably be around 63 or 64 by the time we go up against her, so we shouldn't really have any issue. Against Lance, Ice Beam for the win, not much more to say. And against our rival Blue, well, anything but swift. You can easily become the champion. So, as we enter, first up is Lorelei, and her Pokemon go down one by Thunderbolt. Jinx comes out and tanks one Thunderbolt and hits us with an Ice Punch, so we critically swift her. I accidentally swift a Lapras, and it Hydro Pumps us for some damage, but easily take it down with a Thunderbolt. Next up is Bruno, and as with my predictions, Ice Beams will easily take down this Pokemon. Actually, not just one hit KOs, since his Machamp managed to survive the Ice Beam, but becomes severely damaged. We swift him for the win since Bruno knows he is defeated and decides not to heal his own Pokemon. Next up is Agatha, the Ghost Elite Four. Ghost was supposed to be really good in Gen 1, but sucks so much. So we can easily Psychic her Pokemon with no issue whatsoever. All the moves that they use against me to actually deal damage against me are Psychic moves, which does not cause much damage to me at all. It's actually ineffective. I forgot to heal before facing her, so I'm coming in with a disadvantage. I try to give her an advantage, but her Pokemon go down so easily. Forgot that she had an Arbok and a Golbat, so we end up getting glared, which paralyzes us. Thankfully, the Screech missed, so we don't lose more. But we are now slower, and her final Gengar comes out and uses Confuse Ray on us and confuses us. But with our luck, we managed to not hit ourselves and took out the Gengar with a single Psychic. Finally, we have Lance, and this should be a rather simple fight. Even though Gyarados is based on a dragon from a fish jumping up a waterfall, it doesn't really have the same type as the other dragons. We use Thunderbolt against it for the win. Then the first Dragonair comes out and we take it out with a single Ice Beam. Then the second Dragonair comes out and the 256 glitch, where we can miss a 100% accurate move 1 out of 256 times, ends up messing us up and we get wrapped for 3 turns before we can take it out. Aerodactyl is next and we use a Psychic to take it out, and finally his Dragonite. I end up Thunderbolting it, thinking that would work, but since Electric is not very good against Dragon, we end up doing normal damage, even though it says it's not very effective. Another Gen 1 issue. God, so many issues with Gen 1. This is why Fire Red will be the game I use for the next couple of Gen 1 legendary challenges, before we end up finishing off the Dragonite with the Ice Beam. And with that, we're against our rival. So before we go against our rival, I restore the PP to Ice Beam so we can use that against his team with no issue, and heal up since items are usable outside of battle, per the rules. Now we're going into this battle at level 64, one level below his highest level. Sand Slash goes down to 1 hit, Alakazam comes out, loses half his health from a Thunderbolt, recovers, and then takes some damage with an Ice Beam. We end up one-shot sweeping the rest of his team, thus making us the next Pokemon champion. And with that, we've beaten the game only using our Mewtwo, nicknamed Mew for battle. Mewtwo is by far the best Pokemon in Gen 1. We can easily take on enemies that are higher level than us with no issue, and we one-shot sweep most trainers. There's no trouble with this Pokemon, and I hereby declare that Mewtwo is worthy of being a legendary Pokemon. If you do not have a Mewtwo, I would highly consider obtaining one. They are valuable and can easily win you games without using any other Pokemon in their game. This is not true for actual competitive, but against AI, so don't take my word for competitive battles. Thank you all for watching. The next release of this will be in Fire Red with Mew. Why am I switching to Fire Red? Well, if you have been paying attention, it is because Gen 1 is so broken. Because of this, Gen 3 remake of Gen 1 games fixes all the issues and actually gives us a closer experiences to today's Pokemon. So next time, Mew.